Welcome to Mike Talk on Mr. Brown Alliance. Hi everybody, this is Brown. What day is it? It's Sunday, 8th of June, as it Dune, 2025. I am Brune, and I hope you're all doing pretty well today, folks. Should we just get on with it? Let's get the guests out. Okay, so first up, the channel's very own astromech droid. It is. All right, Prof. All right, mate.
Beep boop. I'm good.
Beep, bap, boop.
Yep.
Should we get the next guest on?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, next up, Bob Smoking Polar Bear. I can't speak. Smoking Polar Bear himself. It is Mr. Fuwas.
Hello, guys. Hey, chat. Yes,
You all
I
right?
am a baby polar bear that loves cigars.
How do you feel about global warming? And
It's-
melting of the ice caps specifically. Does it affect you on a day-to-day basis?
I would honestly prefer it a little bit nippy. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
and on that bombshell, let's get the next guest on. Okay, so Owen.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Sorry.
What?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, I'm okay. How's everybody doing?
Not bad, mate. How I enjoyed your interview today.
I forgot I actually did that. It was a long time.
When did you do it?
was all right. I can't remember. I'm old. I can't even remember what happened yesterday.
So no, I listened to all of it. There is chat. There is a pinned message in the chat if you want to watch an interview with the Mega Geek.
This mega geek. Yeah.
Right. So good to have you on, Ian. There is another.
Yeah, it's good to be on.
There is
Is there?
another.
There is.
Oh, should we just start with it like this then?
He won't be happy.
You probably go out buying a new mic. Okay, and last, look who it is, everybody. It is. I'll give you a clue, everybody. Squarehead. Anybody?
Leslie
Leslie.
Heslin.
We're
We're having Leslie Heslin on.
Yes,
Price.
she'll
Oh,
be
her
here
boyfriend.
shortly. I
How's that
just
mic
spoke
of
with her.
yours?
She's on her way. What'd you say?
How's that mic of yours?
It's doing great. You have you inspired me to get better mics than I had. You're an inspiration, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
Well, he's
because you sounded
something, put it that
shit.
way.
Yeah. Flav Rach World Sport. Mega's interview. There you go, folks. Fill your boots afterwards. Okay. So, Price, you good. I'm glad I inspire you.
You inspire me, Brown. Yes.
I think, genuinely, I don't think I could top that. So, shall we just leave it there? It's shortest stream ever. 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye.
Price, it's great to have you on. Shall we get on with this?
Sure.
Okay. Let's get some bits and bats up. But boomerang. Episode, it's just still light outside, just about getting dark now. Episode 285, Musings. I could have swore we've done 285 before, but no.
So, Mr. Brown, are you saying the sun's going down, big guy?
Sun's down where I am.
It is kind of half dark. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked anyway. Okay. Longest day coming up soon, folks. Or shortest day if you're in the southern hemisphere. Sunday, June 8th. It is the 8th. One day I will make a mistake with a day, but never mind. Not today. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay. I will say first of all, good evening, chat. We can see you. We'll do the Ballerina in a moment, but did anybody see this? Tom Cruise shares new post. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, a weekend of action at the big screen. What do you think to that, then, boys? Not a lot.
I think Tom Cruise is the only guy in Hollywood that doesn't hate me and hate us.
Yeah.
The audience is a general rule. So you know what? I'm willing to spend my money, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he is probably the only one. So you know what? Even if the movies aren't great, as long as they're free from a particular ideology which has been infecting cinema,
There's a lot of it.
Dakota shows support.
Yeah, I like Tom. I just think that it's a shame his film wasn't very good. That's all. The last one going out, but you know, I like him.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching the behind the scenes stunt part, even more than the movie. Man, you could do a fully feature length film of him doing stunts for his movies, and it would probably make money.
The thing is that surprises me is that usually he's not an idiot when it comes to producing films, even ones that he's in or whatever it is. And it surprises me that he let this final movie be the way it was. I understand that maybe between the different strikes and reshoots and Couve initially, then a lot of plans were changed and budgets inflated and things like that. But I still think somehow that with the amount of money that was invested, I usually trust him to know when a story or something isn't 100% working. And I feel really sad that Mission Impossible wasn't good, because with some extra effort, it could have been just fine.
Well, maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe it was too late. You know, so basically he was halfway through the film because of this. They're making them back to back. Maybe maybe he just didn't have a choice. He had to finish it, even though he knew it wasn't up to standard. So we don't know. But anyway,
I did hear two things about this. The first one is that there's a rumor that the movie was made with money from some Russian oligarch that wasn't really concerned about making money in the first place. I don't know if that's true. I didn't have time to follow up on it. And the other thing is they were eating some of the consequences that came from making the first one, and what COVID did to force them to change it. So, I think what they did, instead of leaning into the first one, and this is a sequel, I think they tried to backpedal a little bit from the changes they were forced to make, and it just didn't work. But I got to agree with Price. Cruise usually knows better.
Did anybody see the interview with Christopher McQuarrie on YouTube?
yeah.
Which one?
I think there was a 1 hour interview, but I saw a lot of the kind of snippets. I feel like
I've seen snippets, but I didn't see a 1 hour one with him.
Yeah, I saw I probably saw the entire interview by watching the segments, but he said they did their damnedest to avoid exposition, but they backed themselves into a corner. Hence,
I just think he was in. They were in trouble.
yeah,
I suspect heavily that when they made they had a huge plan to make both films, and it was just a coup that actually set them right off course. And then they had to keep correcting as they went along, because they were committed to finishing two films, and I think it suffered, especially the storyline suffered in the second installment, and then they just had to do the best that they can with the material that they had, with the stuff that they were doing, because it is very underwhelming. The last one really is. There's some wonderful moments in there, but overall it's an underwhelming film,
Well, I mean, I think that the biggest mistake that he made, that if he could probably change it, he would, is that prior to Couve, he wanted to make a double movie, part 1 and part 2. Now, part 1, I think, was supposed to come out like in 2020, and part 2 in like 2021, or something along those lines. And obviously, because of the Couve, he was never able, or maybe it was 21 and 22, he was never able to deliver on the schedule that he wanted. But then, also because of the way the Couve went, the budget kept inflating because he wanted to keep working, even though there were restrictions, and you had to have people monitoring the Couve on set. The whole thing just spiraled out of control. And then at the end, when he released the first one, he wasn't even able to make back the money, even though it's not a disaster at the box office. It's just he spent so much money on it that, like, not he, but I mean the production spent so much money on it that it wasn't a success. And then I think that he also got pressure from the studio of, okay, well, don't say that the second one is part 2, say that it's a different movie. and please make it maybe a standalone. I don't know what they told him, but I feel like with all the delays and all the pressure and maybe some problems with budgets, it ended up feeling very uneven. Very, very uneven.
Here you go, folks. MGK4 Wrench Will Spot. Hello, my friend. Don't care. I liked it. If you're a fan, I liked it too. Yeah, but I was still disappointed with it. I liked them both. Still disappointed.
I think if they had a little more faith in the audience, especially since they were aware of the problem, they could have cut half that exposition out. It just wasn't needed.
It did feel like a little insulting to the target audience, meaning people who love Mission Impossible. I don't know. Was it for the slow kids at the back? I don't know.
Well, I've noticed in rewatching it, I'll just quickly fast forward through the parts where they just start talking for 10 minutes because it is insulting. And we see that a lot in movies. And then you get a movie or a show.
Perhaps we just expected better from Mr. Cruise. What do you think? I don't know.
I think it's okay to expect better from him. He expects better from himself.
Prof, do we feel this is just a domino effect from the first movie and he's been backed into a corner effectively? Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a combination here. I think part of it is just, I don't know. Hollywood just can't seem to make good movies anymore. I think that might just be part of it. But yes, I do think that they probably had some extra challenges because of the first production being such a disaster. And that's going to affect what happens after that, especially if it meant you had to change storylines and you had to change stars or adjust, whatever. I don't know. This isn't an IP. This isn't a property that I care all that much about. I respect Tom Cruise, for loving on his audience, not treating them, like dirt, like a lot of other stars tend to do today. But for me, it just is what it is. But yeah, I do think there was definitely some carryover from the first one.
Ian, final thoughts?
Well, again, right. I think it's because of what happened with the first movie. I would really be interested to see what the scripts were like before they started shooting. He's not a dumb filmmaker. He knows exactly what he's doing. That's what I'm saying. I think they had, in the end of the day, right. I think they were held. They had to finish it, and so they did this. But I get what Price is saying as well, though. He's a film. Did he not sit down and watch it and say there's too much people explaining stuff? Because we all did. So I'm a bit confused on that score. Maybe he just doesn't care anymore. Maybe because he knows he's getting to a certain age and he thinks, you know what, it's fine.
The guy is risking his life on stunts. I still think he cares, or he wouldn't do that crazy shit.
Well, it's not when he risks his life doing stunts and stuff like that's his thing, isn't it? I mean, he really loves doing that stuff. So he's not going to not do that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. What do I know?
This is my 2 cents. I think that the studio also came to him and said to him, listen, the previous movie, you inflated the budget and it didn't make as much as we wanted. It needed to make $1 billion and it made like 500 million or whatever it is. And then they said, we're going to need you to do something different here. Maybe make it so that even if people didn't watch the previous one, you can explain to them what happened in the previous one so they'll enjoy this one. I think that approach was stupid. And I think that him already wanted to continue the previous one, but also the studio wanting it to be a standalone, which is why they changed the name, put him in a strange situation that he has to explain to the audience what happened in the previous one for the first hour for some stupid reason, and at the same time continue the movie. A lot of just bad luck, unfortunate things, and I think studio meddling also has something to do with it.
Yeah,
Sorry, there was some really dumb things in the script. As I said, I didn't mind the idea that the guy, the guy that they met out in the Alaska, wherever it was, that he was part of it, and that made sense.
I like that. That was a nice.
I liked his character because he had a good. But just making that other guy Jim Phelps' son and all that was just stupid.
Yeah, it was
there was no reason for that. So I don't know what happened when they were making the script. Again, right? It's hard to imagine Tom Cruise doesn't care about the stuff that he's making, but it actually feels like he didn't care about this one. I mean, he loves doing all the stunts, and that's his thing, right? He loves the exhilaration of doing them, but I don't know. I don't know. So it's a puzzling one. This one.
This would have been a successful movie if they were able to keep the budget under control too.
And COVID didn't happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Quick sidestep then, folks. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning crossed 450 million globally. Budget was 400 million.
Well, they made their budget back, I guess.
No, they made half their budget.
Right.
But the movie's still out. It may have some legs. It had a decent second week hold. What, 57%, I think?
Yeah.
And
might,
they'll get a ton. So here's something about the Mission
Might break
Impossible
even.
movies. Here's something about the MI movie. People don't realize Mission Impossible 1 still makes $10 million a year. These are franchise movies that are still yes, it does, that are constantly in demand. Streamers continue to pay money for them, the rights to stream. People still buy them on video on demand, and there's probably a growing physical media market for things like these. The physical media is coming back a little bit. But yeah, I remember it came from Forbes when they were running some of the numbers. So Mission Impossible movies have a lot of ways to make money that don't involve the box office. So I think over the long run, this movie will make money.
Here you go. Arch Collie Wrench, my friend. Miss Brown asked me, doesn't the character who's supposed to be Phelps' son have the same name as the lead character from the first series, Briggs? Is that referenced at all?
Don't know. Also, you're right about that because even Die Hard is people are still buying Die Hard on Blu-ray and on DVD.
Does well at Christmas.
Yeah. So there you go.
Evergreen content,
Yeah, there's definitely power in the franchise. So I think over the long haul, that's why I don't think they were really all that stressed about how the first one performed at the box office. If they can make back half their money, it's probably smooth sailing for them going forward over the long haul.
Okay.
Maybe he was so like he really loves making films, and it's so obvious that that's his life, his number one in life. I don't know what he thinks about his family, but maybe remember that bit where he was screaming and shouting, where they caught him on tape and he's screaming and shouting.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have just stopped then. Do you know what I mean? And say, right, let's stop and claim on insurance, whatever.
Yeah.
We should
come
really
back another
carry
day.
on. But he didn't. He pushed it, isn't it? Because he loves making films so much, and maybe that was his
The
downfall
moments.
on this film.
No,
He
if you
seems
didn't
to
have
really
that,
care about the people, their jobs, their families,
Yeah,
sending their
yeah.
kids to college, their insurance. Like he actually gives a shit about them.
Yeah.
And if he had shut down the movie, the producers get their money back, but all the below the line workers get hosed.
no,
But
and
that's
the
what I'm
other,
saying.
the other
No, but
thing
that's
is,
what I'm
is that
saying.
he was kind of an example because he was fighting so hard. A lot of other Hollywood productions saw this and were trying to follow suit. He actually, at a time where everybody were just jerking off, he actually, took a stand, and it was really important for this whole industry. So I really do appreciate him.
Drew
No, but
Gordon
what I'm
Mensch-
saying
Hello,
is,
Drew.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead,
Just
Ian.
says Tom loves cinema too much.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I
There you
think,
go.
yes, I agreed that, he was trying to save those jobs, but the thing is though, maybe he should have paused it. Do you know what I mean? With what's going on, maybe he would have saved money during the insurance on the film and stuff like that. Maybe he would have done that. Instead, he pushed on, right, with people shooting with masks on their face and had to stand, was it 10 paces away from the person?
Yeah.
And maybe it cost more money. That added to add into the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Of course it did, but I still have faith this movie will do fine in the pay 2 and pay 3 windows, and
Yeah.
overall the franchise will be stronger with every installment in it.
I'm sure there'll be a supersized physical media boxed set coming out as well.
Yeah.
It better have a life-sized Rebecca Ferguson in it.
Okay, that was a mistake killing Rebecca Ferguson off though. But anyway,
That's
Such a
still
crappy
my.
way to die as well.
oh,
Well, her career, she's just doing too well. She had some movie roles in her own television
yeah,
show.
but she
She's
loved
doing
doing
quite-
Mission Impossible.
I know. Believe me, I've
could
never
tell,
gotten
you could tell.
over. I've never gotten over that.
I actually don't think he really wanted to kill her off. I think that she she does have other commitments. I remember seeing an interview with her explaining that some of it is also that she committed to a few different projects,
Yeah.
and it was hard for her to also,
There you go.
work this with the schedule.
June, or is it
Oh yeah,
Dune was
yeah.
great in Just in Case
He
It Wasn't.
definitely didn't want to get rid of her, but she had June to make, or is it Dune?
Don't know.
And her
Yeah,
own
but why?
and her own show on Apple TV.
Yep.
They didn't want her to leave, but I
But
figure
why?
they.
But why kill her off though? He could have
Um,
had something happen to her, and she was out of the adventure. Or why kill
Well,
her off? That's the question.
They did it in an ambiguous enough way that I think they could bring her back. I was
How?
expecting her to be back in this movie,
But anyway,
but she just has.
okay.
She's too successful an actress.
Okay, we spent far too long on that, but let's move on. Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Okay, let's move on then. So this was the biggie this week. Ballerina from the world of John Wick. Who's seen Ballerina?
Me.
I've seen it.
Anyone else? Price, Prof?
I saw it. I did a review on it.
Oh,
Prof?
I didn't
there?
catch your review yet.
I posted it a few hours ago, but
Oh,
yes.
okay, I didn't see it.
Yes, I
Oh.
watched this movie.
Prof, are you alive? Oh,
No,
you should
no, I have
know.
not watched this. I have not watched to this day a single John Wick film.
What?
So no, I haven't seen this either.
You're
Damn.
a very, very strange man, Professor.
I
Very,
couldn't care
very
less.
strange.
It's just
What?
nothing about it interests me. So
Okay.
Maybe one day.
Ian, you go first this time. Thank you.
Okay. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's the story's really paper thin. Daenerys, as we call her, she's
Daenerys,
lovely.
Yeah.
Daenerys, she's lovely. But it's not as well. I don't know. It's not as good as
Revenge movie, by the way, folks.
yeah, it's not as good as John Wick. Again, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you get the feeling that they were certain things that just stuck in the script for some reason. Like I don't know, a bit spoilers, guys. Her sister turns up, and it's like, where does she come from? Towards the
No,
end
and also
then.
that whole issue comes and
Spoilers.
goes so quickly. I don't want
Yeah.
to spoil, but that whole situation happens so fast
Yeah,
that it just feels insignificant. And I
Yes.
actually mentioned that in my review that I said I was a bit more vague than you in my review. I said that there's some twists and turns and reveals somewhere in this movie, but towards the third act, but they come and go so quickly that you don't even appreciate them. They're like meaningless.
yeah. Again, right? There are a lot of things, like the guy from Walking Dead. He turns up, and again, just close your ears if you. This is a spoiler. Another spoiler.
Spoilers.
Another spoiler. You think he's dead, and he looks like he's dead. Then at the end, towards the end of the film, he's alive.
I was wondering to
So-
myself if that was a reshoot, because I'm just like, did they just see some
the-
audience response and they're like, this isn't a good resolution. What's going to happen with
Price.
this? They have to tie it up.
I get the feeling, Price, that they're hoping for a follow up to this. That's why he's still alive, and that's why I reckon halfway through the film they killed him off, and then when they were making it, they think, you know what, this might be a big hit. Let's just bring
Let's
this
just do
guy
a scene.
back.
Yeah, he's
There
not
were
Yeah,
dead.
so
there were
in the
reshoots last
sequel.
year, apparently.
Yeah, so that maybe he'll be in the sequel and stuff like that, and so that's what I thought. And also, it was paper thin. The storyline about this cult that lived in that town, and it's just, I don't know. And also, right, it's quite funny because they were using a little bit of de aging on people, and also, who's the guy that played the guy at the concierge, the black guy? We all know he's
Lance
dead.
Reddick. He that was
Yeah,
his last
we all-
role.
Yeah, well, we all know he's dead, but it's so obvious they took clips from John Wick and they just
No,
CGI'd him.
No,
they
I
did.
actually think that he filmed the scenes for this. I
No,
actually
no,
This was made
No.
2 years ago.
no,
He's deaf.
it's an effect. I can tell on screen. It's an effect.
No, it
Are
was
you
made when
serious?
this was his last film.
I'm serious.
this was his
Check-
last film. He
It was
filmed
made
it. I
2
don't
years
know.
ago. This
Well,
was made
okay,
2 years
okay.
ago. They've been
Right,
sitting
listen.
on it.
All right, listen, I might be wrong, right? But when I was watching it
wrong.
on screen, I swear I can see it's an effect where he's standing next to Ian McShane and stuff like that. But I might be wrong. I could put my hands in
Possibly
the
with
air and
that,
say
but
to
if
myself,
that was a
"Stop interrupting me! I am talking." Right? I put my hands in the air. I put my hands in the air, and
like you don't care.
I've got to admit, yes, exactly. I got I got to admit that I might be wrong, but I swear when I was watching
You're
that
just
film,
making it up, aren't you?
I can tell that there was an effect with him. I don't know what the context is, but I know that guy wasn't there in some of those shots. But anyway, I might be wrong. I just to carry on my review, I thought it was very entertaining. I thought it was very silly. I thought the cameo from Keanu Reeves was good. To tell you the truth, I was really
Yeah, I
happy he turned
do.
up, and it's just a fun ride. It's not as good as the John Wick movies, and I do like the idea that she gets beaten up because she's not as good as John Wick. I love that idea. Thank God they did that, and she's not a woman boss. There are a couple of moments where she takes on a couple of people, but that's the hero trope, which happens with male and females. But overall, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I know Vex didn't like this movie, so I kind of liked it, Vex. Sorry, but there you go. It was all right.
I'll tell you what my thoughts were. I think that as opposed to most of these kind of girl boss action movies, there were some thoughtful things that happened here that they explained to her, listen, there's some big guy, you're not going to overpower him. All you can do, like, they're trying to encourage her to use knives and guns and all these kind of things, almost cheating if you have to, but you're not going to be more strong than this guy. And I thought that at least they acknowledged that. Now, is it still a bunch of preposterous nonsense? Sure. And you know what? I'd put up with the nonsense just like you do in those kind of John Wick movies, although I think only the first one was really truly good. But in any case, they could have taken the ideas here, the story ideas, and made it into a decent script, and they didn't even bother. And the screenplay is really what weighs it down. Like you, Ian, I did enjoy it for whatever it was. She's pleasant to look at, Ana de Armas. She's not a horrendous-looking lady. She looks like she worked hard on the choreography and the action scenes, better than most female actresses I've seen doing this. And at the end of the day, it was a mindless, dumb popcorn movie that I didn't suffer watching, but it's also not especially good either.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
What?
This was essentially the Beekeeper as a woman.
Less than the
movie.
Beekeeper. Less. The Beekeeper, say what you want about Jason Statham movies, but both the Beekeeper and Working Man, as simple as their screenplays are, the character goes from A to B, from B to C, and there's a problem and there's a resolution. Yes, it's very simplistic. Yes, it's almost formulaic, but you know what? That is the movie you're getting. They know what you came to see and they give it to you. Here, somebody didn't even bother putting together the script in a way that's even somewhat logical.
I'll tell you what, and tell you what about this film is that the action does not stop. You think John Wick had a lot of action in it, and his action is far more higher in visual effects and stuff like. But this, right, it just kept going. It just kept, and also it wasn't a long movie either. It didn't. I didn't go. This is too much action.
Too much because it doesn't let the movie breathe, and the reason it's doing it is because it has no screenplay, and that's really the issue. Yeah,
I was about to say that before you cut me off at the pass.
Talking. I apologize. I'll shut up now. You go ahead.
That's right. No. It's Estefobus' turn, isn't it? So go for it, Estefobus.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if the movie stopped, the audience would think about what's happening, and probably half of them would walk out. So,
absolutely.
And I totally agree with Price. There was a couple of twists that would have made this interesting, but they didn't give it a chance to breathe. It was just like on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So, yes, there was absolutely no story, and it was really like you think you would be emotionally invested in a character who wants to get revenge from the people who killed her father, but I'm much more invested in John Wick killing the guys who got his dog. There was just something in the way that they presented it that didn't really allow me to care. But
did you like how they addressed the issue saying you're a woman, you will not be able to beat a large man. So they kind of addressed it.
Okay, a couple things here. I think they addressed it in a Hollywood way that was a bit less than subtle. I think they were actually addressing the men in the audience rather than the character in the movie. I'm glad that they did it, but I thought they could have done it in a little more in character way.
Yeah.
And you know where they did that well was in the One Piece live action show, where it was actually the woman telling the swordsman that, sure, I'm better than you now, but when you grow up, you're going to be bigger, stronger, and faster, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm glad they did. But then they sort of ignore half of that during the fight scenes. So, yeah, they addressed it. But still, I will say this. Man, the fight scenes were phenomenal. They were fantastic.
Yeah,
they
they're
were
really
really visceral. I felt like I was getting hit. But I'm like, there is no way that chick's getting up after that, and she keeps getting up, and I'm like, yeah, there's the little bit of robots in there. Well,
that's the
Can I
fantasy, isn't it, of the show, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah,
did you
that's
say
their.
something? Oh.
They're all bulletproof, and the kind of stuff. So I was okay with that. The action scenes were very exciting.
Go on, Price.
To be fair, even in the John Wick movies, especially like 3 and 4, he also gets beaten up all the time, and he gets up, and everybody just doesn't even question it. So my issue is that rather than this being more like John Wick 1, this is more like John Wick 4 or 3.5 or 5.
This is set between 3 and 4.
7, whatever you want to call it. And that's really the issue with the movie. Surprisingly, it's not really Ana de Armas or even the choreography they gave her, because I think that it was rather thoughtful. It's just that if you zoom out and look at the overall problem with the franchise now, that still applies to this movie.
Yeah, there are a couple other points I wanted to make, which is they're trying to write her the same way they write John Wick, and that really doesn't work for a woman. I'm sorry. They needed to give her a little more character with her character. The other thing, I was like, when John Wick showed up, I'm like, aren't you still falling down the stairs from your last movie? When did you have time to...
before it, isn't it?
This is set between 3 and 4.
Okay.
So
that explains how he had time to show up. They did a good job with his cameo. It was more than just a brief moment, but not so much that he would, sort of overtake the movie. But the thing that really bugged me the most was this movie was a prime opportunity to lean into just how freaking hot Ana de Armas is, and the movie presented her with such asexuality that it was hard to enjoy looking at a good-looking woman for 2 hours. I mean, she is absolutely gorgeous. But the movie was clear that they didn't want no male gaze in this movie, man. We're going to show you her, and we're not going to make her look too ugly, but you're not allowed to enjoy it. And we're certainly not going to have her use her sexuality as a weapon, which any good femme fatale does.
I agree. I totally agree.
I agree. There you go. We all agree, everybody.
Hold on.
Finally, we all agree on something.
Yes, I agree.
4 years. 4 years of doing this. We all agree.
I'd just like to say one thing that didn't make any sense to me, that bothered me a lot. Why does this organization that houses all these assassins, why do they all have to get tattoos on their back, and the same fucking tattoo as well? If they get caught, can't people identify them? like when she got cut with the samurai sword, and they saw it just doesn't make any sense. Why would everybody get that stupid tattoo? She got the same tattoo that John Wick has on her back. Why?
It's part of the fantasy in the world that we're living in. Of course, they'll just say, hey, yeah, I have the same tattoo, but that doesn't prove anything. It's just part of the lore. It's part of the John Wick universe.
I'm okay with that. They all have shit computers as well, like 40-year-old computers.
I do like these set pieces. The set pieces were great. The fire thing and the hand grenade scene. That was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, you might as well ask, why are they still using pneumatic tubes and teletypes and 60-year-old secretaries tattooed all over their entire body? It's part of the mythos.
The flamethrower sequence was very good.
And Ian,
I wasn't going to spoil that.
Ian, I want to say that I agree with you about one thing. Let's say the scene in the club, her first assignment, Maybe to get in the club, you would have had some like strange bouncer that doesn't let people in, but then she walks in and she kind of looks all sexy to him, and he kind of lets her cut the line or something. Little things like that could have just been peppered in here to show that she's an appealing woman and have her generate a little bit of a sexy vibe. And you're absolutely right. They didn't use any opportunity to do that. They absolutely cut that out and didn't have it. And they could have scored a few extra points with me if they would have included it.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it's as I said, I think it's worth going to see. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you want to see action, it's a lot of fun.
This may be a good time for me to address my point that several people have brought up, that Hollywood just can't make movies anymore, that we don't have good stories. I think part of that is, regardless of who is making the movie, there's those set of weird unwritten rules in Hollywood. And I think for the most part, and I've tried to actually write them down, because, there's a few of them, like your hero must be a woman or a person of color. The women can't be flawed. They have to be victims without actually being victimized. A man can't save, teach, or defeat a woman, stuff like that. That puts a huge limitation on the stories that you're allowed to tell and able to tell. And I think even people that are getting past this whole wokeness era, they're still a little bit hindered by the rules that are floating around Hollywood. Like, just you'll see it big time when Fantastic Four comes out. But they still want to make the men, especially white men, dumb and useless. Only the women have agency, but somehow they can't be fighting each other. And the story always has to validate the woman's feelings and not the man. That's
At least she didn't beat John Wick.
Yeah, well, they weren't going to let that happen. But I bet some producer said that I bet some producer told them to try that. I guarantee you, somebody said, why don't we have her beat John Wick? But I'll tell you, man, to me, this woman may be the hottest thing in Hollywood. She could sell more soap than Sydney Sweeney. And
they're not using her.
They didn't use her. Exactly. Yeah. But, look, what was that game, Marvel Rivals, with just tits and ass hanging out over the whole game, and they can't sell enough digital costumes to keep up with anything. Like, there's the money. This movie would do twice the money if they had her fighting in a bikini.
This was your dirty old bastard. That's what it is. But anyway.
Well, I didn't come from nowhere. I used to be a dirty young bastard. So
okay, should we do some super chats?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's the Phobos Wrench. World of Sport, $2. Bring back cocaine to Hollywood. Hell of a drug. Thank you, my friend.
That was my suggestion. You could also maybe bring back Harvey Weinstein for all of his faults. The guy knew how to make a movie. Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Richard Shaft. 11 euro. Not the Richard Shaft, is it? Thoughts on Ballerina, eh? If you take a drink every time someone prominently brain fart, sorry folks, waits more than a second during combat, you'll be pushing up daisies after the first Eve fight scene.
Yeah, that's not exclusive to this movie. That's all of the John Wick films.
Okay.
Everybody has to get in position.
Okay, so to sum up then, are we all recommending Ballerina? I enjoyed it. I would recommend it. If you're loose, if you need a couple of hours to get out of the house.
I give it 4 fingers out of 5.
I think it's worth going to see. I thought it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. Price?
I mean, like I said, it's a decent popcorn movie, not the best, but I didn't hate it. I sat there and I thought, okay, well, this was okay, I guess. It's mindless, mind-numbing popcorn movie, almost fun.
Almost fun.
I stopped short of saying full fun because the screenplay really disappointed me. But I will say that I didn't hate it either. It was okay.
Oh, I had one more comment that the story was very linear, and I thought just by editing,
Yeah.
if they could have added some of the backstory as the movie was progressing, it actually would have made the film significantly more interesting. Don't start off with 20 minutes of flashback, her as a kid, or start her off like already kicking some ass and go back and show her training and then go back and show her motivation. I think it could have made the movie more interesting.
Okay, I would give this a movie that I like. It's not brilliant. It's not poo. I would give this 7 out of 10, and not an IGN.
I do understand what Istafova is saying and Price, right?
Yeah.
For the amount of money they spent on this, at least they could have concentrated more on the script and made the story a little bit better, making more sense. But they didn't. Obviously, they were focusing on the action. And that guy, you always see him in these films because he choreographs most of the fight.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, he took her on in that shop, didn't he? That was
was
hilarious.
he was in the
Nobody. He was in Nobody. He was
on the
in,
bus scene.
on the bus scene. Yeah.
I want to
He's a
support.
really good guy.
I want to support this movie, but I want to be able to do it in such a way that the people who made it know that I appreciate their lack of agenda, but I would prefer them lean into the hotness of some of their actresses.
Here you go, MC Wrench, slow MC. That's my kind of review, Mr. Brown. It's not brilliant, but it's not poo.
The thing is, though, as I said, everything's been done in John Wick, so they
I
can't
like John Wick.
As I'm saying, they can't make her better than John Wick. So they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. So this is what they came up with. And do you know what? It's acceptable. It's enjoyable. That's all I can say.
Listen, if you're a fan of John Wick movies, you kind of know what you're gonna get. I needed to get out of the house for 2 hours, and I was entertained. And it was a John Wick franchise movie. And now I'm looking forward to Nobody 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but they could have done better with not a whole lot more effort. And there
was a lot of reshoots. Apparently, I had a look at the Wikipedia before.
Yes, and they're being very strange about these reshoots, because initially what was believed or what was reported is that the producer Chad Slahesky or whatever his name is, he didn't like what he saw, and he decided that he wanted to reshoot all the fight scenes and a really extensive part in the movie. But now when they were promoting the movie, he's like, I was so annoyed that people said that. It was actually that the studio liked what they saw and we were adding stuff to it. We weren't like doing that. I liked where the movie was going. So he was trying to refute all of these things, even though who knows if he's telling the truth. And then the other thing is that the director, Len Wiseman, he said that they actually shot those scenes with the father at the beginning and that whole action scene at the beginning, that was part of the reshoots. Meaning initially they did actually start from her kicking ass and just briefly showing the origin. And I don't know if it was studio comments or why they decided they wanted to shoot this additional thing to really provide the background for her.
Do we think the movie got off on the wrong foot? Moving on.
No, I want to say this. I actually didn't mind that they had some origin, but the only problem is that maybe because of the reshoots and that they just pasted it on the way they did, it's not well thought out through. That's why at the end when there's the twist and there's the sister and different things, you don't appreciate anything. Maybe there was a way to build this up, show some of her childhood, show some memories, and then later when there's this big twist, there's a payoff to it. But instead it's just like, it's a twist that comes out of nowhere that nobody gives a shit about.
But you know what I suspect? I suspect they started with a really bad script. And as they were going along, they realized it was bad. So that's hence why the reshoots, like the bit in the beginning felt right out of place to me, the style of the way it was shot and everything compared to the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And, it just felt a bit out of place to me. But, again, it was enjoyable, popcorn movie. That's, that's what it was. Yeah.
Bob Smith brings up an interesting point. He was talking about Point of No Return, which is a remake of La Femme Nikita.
Yes.
She can't be better than John Wick, but you know what she could be? She could have been smarter. They could have focused more on her training with spycraft and using her brains instead of her muscle, and makes her a more effective agent. So I think that's another missed opportunity. She could have actually been better in certain ways.
Yeah.
She's not going to face tank John Wick and walk away from it, but she might be able to outsmart him.
Also, what was the point of her friend in the film? You know, when she came to go, what happened to so and so? Oh, she doesn't have the killer instinct. That's why to let her go. What was the point of her? Why was she in the movie then? If she was just going to get dismissed, this didn't make any sense.
I thought that they were going to make her kill her for her initiation, and maybe that was one of the reshoots, that she just killed some random scrub that had been here for a few years. But I kept expecting her to have to put a bullet through her best friend's head in order to show that she's ready.
Yeah, I thought that was a missed opportunity for me. That would have been good.
That didn't lead to anything either, did it? When that woman came in, so this is what
who's this?
I'm part of a test.
Well, it should have been a best mate. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. It definitely led to something for her, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they need to have two women talking so they could pass the Bechdel test?
Don't know.
There was two women talking several points. Okay, shall we? Sorry, Prof, you're a bit of a spectator tonight. Sorry, mate.
No, that's fine.
Shall we? My cat's arrived. Move on. Well, it's a that. Ballerina earned 25 million on its domestic box office opening weekend. The film had a 80 million budget.
That poster sucks. That frame sucks, doesn't it? I mean, why make her look like that? Why couldn't she be more attractive?
Every inch of her skin, except her face, is covered up. They won't even show a little bit of wrist.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But
well, it's because they wrote her like a man and they wanted her to act like a man, and that doesn't work.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh well.
even at a what today is a fairly moderate $80 million budget, I'm not sure this is making it back.
The thing is, though, they had 80 million. They could have at least bought some really nice dresses or do her hair better and stuff. You know, I made Rebecca Golden. I couldn't afford to give her a dress or anything like that. You know, so if I had that amount of money, I'd be able to do loads of stuff.
You've got
this is no excuse. No
Listen,
excuse at all.
Yeah. I have never seen. Oh, go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
Go on. Go on.
I'm old. I've seen a lot of movies and TV shows, and I have never seen anything about a female spy or a female operative or a female soldier that didn't place some emphasis on them using their sensuality as a weapon.
Yeah. That's the problem with this movie, isn't it?
Yes. Anything made before 2010, it just doesn't, and they're real life examples.
Okay. So what we're saying is the real problem with this movie is one of the hottest stars in Hollywood is not being utilized for fear of offending the ugly blue-haired whales. That's what we're saying, yes?
Exactly.
Blue-haired whales.
Although I will point out
that is what's wrong with this movie, folks.
Yes.
In a nutshell. You're welcome.
It wasn't her failing in her stunt work. She was amazing, and most of it looked like her, which is a testament to their good craft of cinema. It really did look like she was the one doing all the action.
In No Time to Die, which I hate, by the way, the 7 minutes she was in, Ian, she was amazing.
Yeah, she had a great dress on, didn't she?
Yeah.
She looked awesome.
Yeah, and she trained for 6 months to do that.
Yeah.
See, there's another example. You have the hottest star in Hollywood, and you only use her for 7 minutes in your movie? Are you insane? It's a Bond movie, for fuck's sake.
The worst part is that Bond thought that maybe she was flirting with him, and she's like, ew. Ew. She makes like an ew face, which I will never forget. I'll never forgive that stupid No Time to Die movie. Throwing missiles on Bond is bad enough, but having Anna de Armas look at him and go, ew, it's like, I can't accept that.
Well, I could, because of the guy who was playing Bond, I could accept it.
Yeah, he does look like
Maybe.
a potato, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, she could have never gotten away with that.
If
with
it was Pierce Brosnan in his
or
prime,
Sean
I don't think
Connery,
she could
yeah.
do
Okay, right,
ew
okay.
to him.
Mm.
Yeah,
Here you go. Dr. Iceman wrenched. Hello, Doc. The last James Bond was complete shit. Wasn't that good,
It
mate?
was. It was.
Alex
shit.
Ashgan. Hello, Alex. Wrenched, by the way. Craig's no Bond.
That's right.
Tom, wrenched. Hello, Tom. Not a Bond film.
yeah. And Iceman's a professor, so he knows what he's talking about.
This is the way forward for the James Bond films in the future. They're going to have all really hot women in it, and all going to be dressed up to the right up to their neck, so you don't see any flesh or anything. That's what's going to happen.
Anyway, on that bombshell. Sidestep.
Wait, did Professor say that he didn't think she was hot?
He's
No,
nodded
he said
off.
she was
anyway,
hot.
So,
What'd you say?
She's good looking. I just don't think she's as hot as everyone seems to be making out.
I mean, it's
don't.
hard to tell from this movie because I think they really made her, they didn't play up to her strength, but I think she's a good-looking lady, in my opinion.
she's a good-looking girl.
Are you doing a
Also-
Melvin?
No, I'm just saying,
I-
she's
He's a
good
resident
looking. I just
Melvin.
don't think
I
she's
agree.
like a 10 and a
agree with-
half. She's
I
not.
agree
She's not the
with,
greatest thing.
Yeah, I
out
agree
there.
with you, Prof. She's very, very good looking, but okay. Shall
Melvin.
we? She's no Haley Atwell.
That's
She
what she
doesn't-
called it in the future. A Melvin.
She doesn't quite command the screen the way Haley
She's no
Atwell.
Zendaya.
I wouldn't even date her.
She's no Zendaya. Okay, let's move on.
That was my Melvin impression.
That
I
was
know.
very good. Yeah, I thought he'd walked in then. Okay. Ballerina debuts with an A minus on CinemaScope. Is that good? Is that good?
I don't know.
Anybody?
Do you know
Is that
what?
good? Bad?
That's about what you said. It's not magnificent, but it's not poo. Usually anything less than an A for cinema score is not acceptable because they are taking the ratings from the group most favorably inclined toward the movie. So a B plus is really not good. So A minus, it's probably the least rating you could get that's still not terrible.
Okay. Wrenched. She's no Wendy James.
I don't want to be mean to Cinema Score, but I've always had, suspicious sentiments towards this whole Cinema Score. I don't know. Whatever grades they give, I really can't use that as any kind of metric.
I would have given this movie a B minus.
I think my grade was more even like a C plus or something.
Well, a B minus for cinema score is an absolute
Wasn't B
disaster.
minus the same as a C plus?
No, but for
Oh,
cinema
okay.
score, anything that's
Similar
not an
though,
A,
isn't it? Okay. Let's not get
In
Bob
Cinema
Memory
Score,
box.
if you're not first, you're last.
exactly.
And on that bombshell. Okay. Ian, do you know who Wendy James is?
No. Who's Wendy
Okay.
James?
Did she sleep with 500 guys in a night in the UK?
Probably back in the 80s, but anyway, okay, let's move.
Wendy James.
Wendy James.
What is she in? What has she been in?
Transvision Vamp in the late 80s.
No, I don't know her.
You worked on Top of the Pops as well.
Yeah. So?
I
I don't even know what this band is.
No, nor do I.
They're awful.
They were massive. They had one hit which was massive.
Baby, I Don't Care.
Yeah.
Oh, that song. I don't think I was there when she was on it.
Baby, I don't care.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I was there. when she was on it.
MC Wrench, she was hot. Don't avoid Googling Wendy James present day.
Yes, she's
it'll-
looking a little rough.
It will destroy your memories.
Image.
By the way.
Yeah.
Let's don't know what's next. Oh, more of these. James Gunn, meet the press. # Superman in theaters July 11th.
Don't care.
Didn't
There's something
Gunn-
very. Hang on. Go on.
No, I want to hear what you were saying.
Okay. There's something very, very subtle going on here, or is it just me?
Can I ask a question? Do you reckon they've done effects on him because he looks very thin there compared to when he's in the Superman suit?
I think that
Anyone?
these pictures are just crappy to begin with. All their marketing looks like crap, and these images look like crap. And I think that the actress that plays Lois is actually nicer looking than this, but they somehow managed to downgrade her, and he looks weird as well.
Yeah, no picture of any celebrity ever goes out without being processed and overly processed in Photoshop. But to answer your question, Brown, I don't think it's that subtle.
No, there is something going on. In the Western world, don't we tend to read from left to right? So shouldn't Superman be the first on the left,
That's
not Lois Lane? Or am I just being a bit
No, dude,
tenuous?
Lois Lane is the hero of the movie. It's James Gunn's Lois Lane.
Yeah.
So nobody's answered my question. Then, do you reckon they've done effects on him to make him? Look
Yeah,
thinner?
Yes.
I answered. They totally did. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But you'll notice, of course, that she's dressed like Eve from Ballerina. They're not really playing up her sexy either, and she's a beautiful woman.
Okay, I've got a compliment coming in. Arranged. Mr. Barrel, that's me. That's dumb, even for you. Thank you very much. I try
Actually,
hard.
do you know what? You're right. As I said, right, it's a shame, all that money, and they can't make her look hot.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so I saw him first.
Oh, okay. It's a sidestep.
Oh, good.
James Gunn again. Our last visual effect shot has been finished and dropped into #Superman. We are now 100% done. Thanks to all my collaborators. It's been a joy. And for the rest of you, I can't wait to destroy your dreams. I made that bit up.
Wow, Jennifer Holland looks really short in that photo.
Yeah.
What do you think, Prof?
I still want this to be good. I really do. I really want it to be good. And our last visual effects shot has been finished and dropped into Superman. I still don't think the movie's done. I think he's lying. I think they're going to be editing this down to 2 days before it premieres. They're
Is that
going to be
woman
tweaking
wearing
and
a wig?
adding and yeah.
Yeah, I agree with him. They're going to be editing the movie after
While we're watching it
premieres.
live.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the
Is that
people
woman
saying
wearing
it,
a wig?
who Jennifer Holland?
That's not Jennifer
The
Holland. is
blonde
it?
girl. The blonde
That's
girl.
somebody else.
She
Are
wearing
you
a
sure?
wig?
Oh, who is it? I thought
You don't know.
Okay, I think it's the one who plays Miss Tessmacher, I think.
Oh,
Why is Miss Tessmacher in this film?
ow, my
Fly,
ears! Jesus.
Ian shouting, slide
Why?
just drenched. Bottom right, is that Shooty? No, not this week.
Why is she in this film? Miss
This
Tessmacher?
version of Miss Tessmacher is going to be the vacuous, Instagram obsessed TikTok, whatever character.
Why?
Okay,
though?
just-
She
that's who
wasn't
it's
even
gonna
in
be.
the comics.
May I remind everybody, this is James Gunn's Superman. Let's
Why
not
is
forget
Miss
that.
Tessmacher in this film? Miss Tessmacher was made up for the 78 version. She wasn't even in the comics. Why is Miss Tessmacher in this movie?
Don't know.
It should have been Mercy Grace.
Jesus Christ. I've got a bad feeling about this film.
Did you see the latest teaser? I don't know if it came out today or yesterday, but it's the one where Lex is talking.
What did he say?
No.
Oh, it's worth digging that up to take a look. It's the first thing that gave me any hope that this movie could still be good.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
It's,
Apan Ashblund. Will it be as good as the best superhero movie, The Flash? That was a great movie, that.
Man, we got double Ezra Miller. We'll never see
Oh.
that again.
That was a great movie, that was.
Do you want me to find the trailer, Brown?
No.
Okay.
Put it in the private chat, please. I want to see it.
There's a thing where Lex is talking and he says, that Superman is the most powerful person on the face of the planet. And Lex goes, "No, I will never allow that to happen," kind of thing. It was actually kind of cool.
Here you go. Fat
Lava.
Wrenched. I like The Flash. So did I, mate. Great movie. Should have made $1 billion. Never mind. Okay. Shall we? I think it's a sidestep. Who saw this? According to the Hollywood Reporter, DC Studios, Warner Brothers Digital could spend as much as $200 million on the global marketing campaign for, see, they've got this wrong, James Gunn's Superman, compared to the usual $150 million for an all-audience summer tentpole. Silence.
Throwing good money after bad, I think.
Yeah. That's interesting because there were other reports that they were pulling back on their marketing budget. So I'm wondering if they put this out specifically to try and shut those other rumors down. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me they would spend a ton of money on this. I think they're gambling just about everything on this film. If this tanks, DC and Warner Brothers are going to be in rough shape.
Yeah,
rough shape.
I still think it's going to settle somewhere between 600 and 700 million, and they're going to declare victory, but it's not going to be good for them.
Yeah, it won't make money, but as long as it gets good buzz.
Yeah. And maybe even close to 8, but I really don't see it getting past 7. But what the hell do I know?
Well, if it's good, if it's good, I'm sure it will do the bill. If it's good,
if it's really good, yeah, it's going to have lots of people show up for it. If it's not, if it's just okay, a lot of people just aren't going to bother. I think there are, a lot has been said about comic book movie fatigue and whatever. And to some extent, I think that's real. I think people don't expect these movies to be good anymore. And unless there's really good buzz, people coming out, you've got to see this movie. No. You've got to see it.
Well, that'll be us if we agree it's good.
Yeah. If that's the case, yeah, this is going to really rake it in. If it's just okay, middling, whatever, if it doesn't have people coming out of that theater telling their friends, you've got to go see this, then yeah, it's going to fall off pretty quick.
John Yulden, Wrench, what a spot. 200 million is the average for marketing for movies, though.
It's a little high for a tentpole. I'd say about 150.
Yeah, 150 is pretty common.
But Wicked spent what, 400 million for marketing? It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, there was like they spent like 200 on like just regular marketing, and then they had another nearly 200 that was in partnerships that they made with a whole bunch of different different brands and stores and stuff like that.
And then there was the extra 100 million just to keep Ariana Grande alive while they prodded her out.
But it was sponsored by Ozempic though.
Yeah.
Sword in the Storm, Wrenched, Hollow Sword. Yay! Superman fighting a kaiju. How interesting. Oh yes.
Well, he did that a lot in the comics in the 80s, so
this is just too much, too soon. We just wanted a Superman movie, for fuck's sake. Come on.
If movies opened up to the second weekend, it would be a lot easier for us to tell how they're going to do.
If this had been Superman, Superman 2, yeah, okay. Let's just ease ourselves in a little bit. He's got this extended universe shit going on, though, hasn't he?
A ton of it. I mean, look, it's not Doomsday, but
yeah.
I just recently watched the Donner cut of Superman 2.
Oh,
I just don't think we're going to get better than that. Yeah, some of the effects are obviously dated, but God, what a movie.
General Zod in the White House firing an M16. Oh, what's not to love?
I'll say one thing. I love Superman 1, the Donner, whatever he did, the first movie. The one thing that bothers me, and I know he brought it in from the second movie and he plugged it into the first, that whole situation of turning the globe backwards, I've never liked it. I love the movie and I'll accept it, but it really, ever since I was a kid, I thought that was too much of a cheat.
Price, he didn't turn the globe backwards. He went faster than light and reversed time.
What?
And that made the world.
Yes, you know what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, it's kind of a cheat because anything that happens, he can always just do that.
Timey, why
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, he intended that to be how Superman 2 was going to end.
Yeah,
And
you go, Joe Darkness, Wrench, by the way, was in the comics.
I still don't have to like it. I like Superman a lot. I like a lot of things that I've seen in the comics growing up, but at the same time, that idea, it's too much of a cheat because you can always go back and think about it and think, well, if he can turn things back, then can't he do that now?
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Once you introduce time travel, it messes a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, it's like popping the multiverse cherry. Once you do that, there's no going back. And I agree with you. It was just the mechanism by which he did it.
Okay, time travel, unless if it's Doctor Who in its peak.
Well, it was built on the ideas of time travel. So
yeah,
that's different. That's different. Especially since they establish. Yeah, well, they establish it basically like that when they're traveling through time, like they're not changing things. They're not, it's different how they establish it. But yeah,
didn't Richard Donner invent kebabs?
What?
Sorry, I killed it.
You mean sorry, like, I don't get that joke.
You mean like skewers with like kebabs. Beef on it?
If Melvin, listen, that was a little channeling joke, obviously wasted a lot.
It's a UK joke. That's what.
Sorry,
it is.
here we go. So,
yeah, I know. Actually,
I mean, got very hot in this room all of a sudden. Fucking, I'm boiling.
We do use the word kebabs in the States, but not like you guys do.
It's something else.
Yeah, it's.
There you go. Cheers.
Now I'm curious. What is it that you're referring to, Brown?
So Doner kebabs is they have shops.
Oh, it's a Turkish thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
If Melvin was watching this now, Melvin would be rolling about on the floor with that joke.
No,
okay. I actually, the thing is that now that you said doner kebab, I actually do know what that is, but I didn't think about it initially. It wasn't a clear. I thought that he thought you're gonna laugh at me now. I thought that Melvin probably thought that Margot Kidder didn't look good and that she looked like a kebab, and it was some kind of insider joke. But now I realize that it's not what I thought.
I think it's brave of Brown to sacrifice the entire stream just to send a single joke out to one person in the audience.
Doner kebab.
I applaud your courage.
Well, it's more interesting than talking about James Gunn's Superman.
Or you think they're going to change the movie to James Gunn's Lois Lane by the time release?
James Gunn's Doner Kebab.
Yeah, that'll do it.
See, my work is done. Mud crab wrenched. I got the. Thank you. My work is done. Everybody. We lost about 30 viewers, but we'll go with that. Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay. How many weeks? Is it 5 years? 6 weeks, isn't it? When this is out?
Yeah.
All this promotion is just gonna
11th, July 11th.
That's 5 more weeks for them to get the movie right after it's supposedly in the can. Hey, they don't have to use film anymore, so they have that option.
Right.
They're going to have to. The theaters are going to have to torrent the actual film in order to be able to show it in time.
Brown getting AIDS from his own guest as well. Sorry. It's just the fucking monster that gets me. Yeah.
Where's that monster come from?
It kind of looks like shit too. Like,
is it like a crossover with Pacific Rim or something? I don't know.
No, it looks like a Bella Ramsey. Look at those eyes. It's like it's down. It's Downs Kaiju. Look at those eyes. It's Downs Cat Kaiju.
And on that bombshell. Okay.
It is
5 weeks, folks. Not long now. Not long.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
The Fantastic Four First Steps is early tracking to earn 125 million to 136 million in its domestic box office opening weekend.
Bullshit.
Even if
quickly- I'll-
even if it makes that in the opening weekend, that's not going to guarantee this movie does
Okay.
well.
I'll quickly do this. Z3PO wrenched. World of Sport member for 8 months. Wow. Fanspastic ball with Shrew Storm and Weed Richards.
That's brilliant, Z.
Flame on. Cheers.
Do you
Z.
want to know how they came up with that tracking? I know exactly how they got that data.
Don't know. Go on.
So it was a two-step plan. The first was to announce that computers all over the world are crashing because everybody is trying to buy Fantastic Four tickets.
Yeah.
And
we
for the
mentioned
10%
that,
of the people in the public that are idiots actually believe that and went on to buy tickets offered for pre-sale, which accelerated the number of pre-sales sold for that particular week, but no others, which allowed them to say, wow, we're selling X amount of tickets 8 weeks before the show, so we are tracking for this number. But it is not going to hold up. And if you look, just go to Fandango, look at your local theater. Verbal Riot looked at the Burbank 16, which is like the movie theater.
At the moment,
And,
until it burns down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
So
were
we did
only,
Yep.
for the 8 p.m. show on opening day, there are only 8
What?
tickets sold. I think for all the showings in my area, for the top 4 for theaters, I actually spent about an hour going through and looking. There were like 120 tickets or something.
Yeah, our local the IMAX and 3D showings prime time on opening night. There's only like 8 or 9 tickets sold.
This is a Parrot Analytics trick.
Did I read
Yep.
somewhere
this week that Fantastic Four 2 is been greenlit, or did I make that up?
Who knows? But you can take. So everybody talking about this movie online, saying how much it's going to suck, is interpreted by them as engagement and therefore a ticket sale, which allows them to come up with a ridiculous number like this.
Stephen John, hello Stephen. It won't even hit 400 million.
Oh, Disney will make sure it gets to 400.
It's going to get to 400. I think it's going to probably. I'm thinking more like 500 or 400 to 500.
What?
It's they're putting more marketing, and it has, more sort of recognition than let's say the Thunderbolts. People know what this is. There's a few normies that'll go see it. They're going to do a lot of marketing. They're doing it. I mean, it's not that I wanted to make $500 million, but I feel like it's going to make something between 400 to 500.
And they'll take that marketing money and buy their own tickets if they have to, knowing
Exactly.
they'll get half of it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Disney will go out and they'll keep buying tickets. They made sure that Captain America: Brave New World made it over 400. They'll make sure that this makes it over. Yeah, I don't think 400 will be a problem for this movie though. But yeah, it's definitely going to have a better opening weekend than Thunderbolts. Probably better than Captain America. Even if it makes it to 125 in that opening weekend, that doesn't put this in a $800 million movie. That's not.
Here you go.
It's not
Doctor
gonna
has been
happen.
wrenched. Disney buys its own tickets. It's no secret. They did it for Little Mermaid.
They did it for Captain Marvel too.
And for Thunderbolts and Captain Falcon.
Yep.
Snow White. Or did they give up on that?
I'm not sure they bothered because it
No,
never
they didn't.
broke. Yeah, no.
Ian, you're quiet.
Because I have nothing to say about this shit. It's
We've
going to be
killed-
shit. We know that.
They
If-
killed Ian's spirit.
I can't be asked talking about Fantastic Four. We all know it's going to be crap, and that's that. Really, what more can we say? Johnny's going to be gay. We got
Come on.
what's his name? Weed, which is going to be picked on. Sue
Weed.
Storm's going to be the girl boss, and the Thing is just going to be the Thing, but not the proper Thing from the Kirby run. So what are we going to get? Shit. There you go.
At least he's taller in that poster than he looks like he is in the movie.
Yeah.
But I do want to applaud Z on his little on his chat. Was it the crap spastic 4? That's brilliant. Fan spastic 4 with Screw Storm. Excellent.
Weed.
Excellent work.
I'd just like to say, right, it's really weird, Superman and this film. The advertisement's not been great on this at all, has it? None of both films. The advertisement's absolutely terrible, and I wonder why. They're not trying to, like, for instance, Fantastic Four. Should we not see Mr. Fantastic stretching or Invisible Girl doing something great with her powers, or you know what I mean? We've hardly seen any of them doing anything fantastical.
Ian, you've answered your own question with everything you've been saying over the last few months. All of the marketing departments of these studios got rid of the guys that knew what they were doing and replaced them with
idiots.
Well, I was going to say woke idiots.
Yeah, activists. They replaced them with activists.
Yeah, they don't know how to market a movie.
Then why hire them? I mean, look, if Hollywood hasn't learned their lesson, they never will. And you know what?
Fuck
I hope
them.
they burn. Yeah,
they
burn.
I'll say for you than him. Fuck them.
They hired them so they could show the world how diverse their company was and how many women and people of color worked for them. That's exactly why they hired them.
You hire the right people for the right, the right jobs. That's what you can't just hire them because they're a different color.
Tell them that's how it used to work, but that's exactly how it works now.
Here you go, Bo Romeo. Hello, my friend, new face. Stretching. Maybe there's some morning exercises. There'll be some morning sickness for Sue Storm.
Who cares?
Okay.
Seriously.
I think it's a sidestep, man. Get this. It's like they're proud of it. Hashtag Fantastic Four. First Steps is currently tracking to 15th biggest opening weekend. Yay!
Yeah,
amazing.
Yay!
15th.
Which translates into about the bottom 5% when you factor inflation. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's but Disney, they chase headlines, not real money, because that's what they do.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. I had to reset my mic. Okay. Are they proud of 15th then? Sad, that, isn't it?
It sounds like they are, but that goes down. How many MCU movies have we had now?
16.
How many? No, it's something like 30 something, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was a joke, that was.
We don't care.
Well, this is not last place, is it? We'll all be going to see it, though, won't we?
But, okay, so there are currently 36 movies. That 15th is close to the middle, but if you factor inflation, because most of these movies, were before 2020, you're looking at the bottom 6 or 7 out of 36 movies.
If we're talking opening weekend, now this doesn't have inflation in here, but if we're saying 15th, that puts it below Thor: Love and Thunder.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. People will go and see it. But
no, I'm just talking money wise. Opening weekend, domestic opening weekend. That puts it below. Love
I was answering Ice.
Oh, okay.
Comment. Yeah, I think people will go and see it. I just don't think it's going to make the money that they expect it to. And also, if the woke is in it, then people are going to see it, and then they're going to tell other people, and other people are not going to watch it.
Oh, this movie is nothing but woke. This is girl boss on girl boss action all the way.
See, they're advertising that it's woke, but they're proud of it.
Odd.
Yeah. They're just idiots. They've learned nothing. Yeah.
At least it's not a bait and switch.
Well, if you had read the comics,
kind of.
If you had read the comics, Brown, you would know that Sue Storm was always the boss.
Okay, I think that's on the next slide.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh God, I want to slap.
Blew my ears out then. Sue Storm is the leader of the pack. Do you want to be my gang? Fantastic Four first steps. If you do go back through the comics, you'll realize that Sue Storm is actually the leader of the Fantastic Four, because without Sue Storm, everything falls apart, says executive producer Grant Curtis.
Fuck
And
off.
what? And without Reed Richards, nobody is smart enough to save the planet every
Ian
single
shooting
time.
from the hip. Bug off!
Grant Curtis should be ashamed of himself. He's an
Oh.
idiot if he thinks that is true.
I can translate what he says. He says, don't go see this movie. You don't want to see this movie. It wasn't made for you. Fuck off. That's
Yeah.
Go touch
That's,
grass.
that's from Google Translate. Yep.
I think I might take some. I think what I might do before I go see this: go out in the backyard, dig a square of turf up, grass, take it with me so I can touch grass as I'm watching it. Yeah.
Or swallow half a bottle of gummies. You're gonna need them.
Okay, fuck that. Let's do some. There's some supers. Shall we clear the supers? Okay. Let me. Here we go then. I don't think I did this one. Mega Spider-Man wrenched €5. Bonjour, mes amis, to all. Favorite Arnie films and why those? Favorite Arnie films.
He's got some fun ones. I mean,
Predators up there.
yeah, I've got to say, I mean, Predator.
Total
jeez.
Recall. That's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Hercules in New York.
Pumping Iron's great as well.
But Arnie wasn't in it. His name was Arnold Strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a dubbed
It wasn't-
voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Terminator.
It's
T2. Oh,
It's got to be Terminator or Conan, depending. Like, I think you should be allowed to pick more than one. But
Last Action Hero was good as well.
that was a fantastic movie, completely destroyed by idiot critics and the fact that it went after Jurassic Park in the box office.
Yeah,
That movie is amazing.
it's a great movie.
But I have to say, Conan was just when Conan came out, I think every man over the age of 14 in the United States went and saw it multiple times. It was awesome.
Okay, if we were
Pure
to choose,
testosterone.
okay, if we was to choose one,
I would say Terminator 2 for me.
yeah,
I think he was great in that. Terminator 2.
Oh,
And it's a
God,
great
so
film as
many.
well.
Yeah.
I-
Predator would have to be mine.
Predators up there.
Dylan!
Yeah, I think Terminator
Head
1
to the
is,
chopper.
Terminator 1 is a better movie in my opinion than Terminator 2, but it's still an Arnie movie. But
Okay,
I'm gonna have to go with Predator, but it hadn't always been that way. It's
Okay.
evolved into Predator.
okay, Price. Come on, we've waited. Go on then.
Terminator 1.
Oh, not
Oh,
bombshell.
Good on you,
I
mate.
was sure he
Good
was
on
going
you,
to say
mate.
Jingle All the Way.
Twins.
And I agree that Terminator 1 is actually the better movie. It's just that Terminator 2 is a better production and visually looks cooler, but Terminator 1 is the better movie story-wise.
Yeah, good on your Price. That's
Okay,
excellent choice.
Mega Spider-Man wrench €2 again. Any two Ronnies? Is that fans
Any two-
or lovers? Yeah, 4 candles.
If
you-
you're talking about fans, yeah, I'm a fan of the two Ronnies.
Yeah, four candles.
4 candles. Yeah. The Americans don't know. Do the Americans know who two Ronnies are?
I know it's a sketch comedy show. I think I've seen some clips on YouTube, but no, I've never actually
Yeah,
seen
they were
the
really good.
show.
Really
good.
good.
Sorry, here we go. Romeo Tango November Zulu wrenched Willisport $5 New Zealand dollars. There's an alternate timeline where instead of Pedro, Henry Cavill is in nearly every movie with his mustache, and they all make billions. Yeah, that'd be great,
that'd
wouldn't it?
be good. Yeah, it
Would that be
good.
like the testosterone timeline or something?
I do feel sorry for Henry though, because he has everything that a movie star should have, yet he's been given shit, hasn't he, as movies. So it's a shame, really. Hopefully, he'll get something really good in the future, and then it will establish him, as the star that he should be. But we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be Bond.
No, because we wish it. Romeo, Romeo, Tango, November, Zulu, Ranch will spot 10 New Zealand dollars. With Mission Impossible 8, you can sit back and nitpick it to fook, or accept it's a flawed story with fucking amazing stunts and enjoy it. Fallout remains peak of the series, it does, but I still enjoyed MI8. So did I, mate.
Mm.
Are we going to agree with that?
Yeah, I
Speaking
don't.
of,
Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, go on, Price.
I was going to say that I think that they're not going to choose Cavill because they're going to say he's too old, and I feel like they're going to go with somebody like Theo James or something. I don't hate that actor, but Cavill would have been a better choice for me.
Don't know.
How old is Cavill? How old is Cavill?
42.
42, right?
Yeah. Roger Moore was in his 40s when he became James Bond. So what the
Yeah,
fuck
he
are they
would.
talking
He would
about?
be. He would be younger than him or Connery when they started playing.
Exactly.
Bond.
So
I
what
would
was
take
he-
him for
what are they
3
talking about?
movies minimum. Just give him 3
would I.
movies to bring some life back into this franchise.
Yeah.
With some decent writers and directors, and make it more, tailored for men. I think, and I think the women would like that too. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
Okay, and you go, Atom Grey Wrench, $2. What's your favourite Mega Spider-Man question and why?
Hey, what?
Good
Well
time.
played.
Questions.
Well
I
played,
can't remember this
sir.
question.
Well played.
I think
I
it
liked
was.
it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go on.
No, I think it was when he asked us which Starlet's boobs we liked the best. I think that was my favorite.
I
Or did I
liked
just
it when he said,
did I just dream that one?
what's your favourite Mel Gibson film? That was a good question.
Oh,
Because I like Mel Gibson. But anyway, okay.
I'm gonna go with the boobs.
Okay, and on that bombshell, shall we end it all? Oh
No.
right, okay. Somebody help me out with this. Brie Larson and
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Inu. Doesn't Brie look nice there?
She's
No.
almost finished her transition into a 12-year-old boy.
Maybe not then.
With that haircut, she kind of looks like Alyssa Mercante, and that is not a compliment.
What is this anyway? What is this? I know it's a picture of Brie and whoever this fella is, but what does it mean?
Don't know. I
Anyone?
just saw Brie. I like Brie.
She's in that game that he's making, the weird photorealistic one. Death Stranding 2, I think.
Yeah, I think she's got a role in Death Stranding too. Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
then
even know what that is.
supposedly they're actually working on another project together as well.
But why does she look like a boy then? Does that to do with
Hasn't
the
she
game?
just finished her run in the West End?
Is that to do with the game that she has to look like a boy?
Yeah,
No.
it looks like she's trying to look like Carrie
Oh,
Mulligan
you go.
in this. She's channeling Carrie Mulligan in
There
this.
you go. Anthem 21X. Hello, my friend. He made Metal Gear games. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But she's not in those. He asked why he's with her. She is going to be in his upcoming Death Stranding game.
Yeah, I think she's rumored to be in that one. I don't. She's not been confirmed, but yeah, there's another project he's started working on that's just it only has a code name right now, and supposedly she's going to be a part of it.
I thought she was going to play Solid Snake in the movie Metal Gear Solid, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Good choice.
Okay.
Move along.
I love you, Brie. Let's move on. Then.
I will say this. I did
Oh.
have something important to say.
Oh,
That
okay.
I've said it before, but most actresses can't get away with that very short haircut. It only works on a select few, meaning Halle Berry could pull it off, okay? But Brie Larson can't do it. And if I were her, I would never cut my hair like that again. That's what I wanted to say. Now do whatever you want.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Who saw this? Dakota Johnson says it wasn't her fault that Madame Web was a box office flop, A lot of creative decisions are made by committee. It started out as something and turned into something else. And it was just, I was just there. Sorry, I'll start again. And I was just sort of along for the ride at that point.
But we all know this. We all know that it's not her fault.
Yeah. Well, this may be true, but she thought she was an MCU movie. She didn't do the movie any favors with her acting in it. But I got to wonder, why is all this coming out now?
Because she can. She's probably a contract as expired, so now she can.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
think?
mean, it was a
talk
stain.
shit, I mean, yeah.
I actually think that at this point she probably shouldn't be saying this. The truth is, she took the check, and it's not like she was so great in the movie. The movie wasn't good, and she wasn't good in it. And if I were her, I wouldn't talk a lot about it. Yes, it's true that it was a crappy movie, and it was a crappy screenplay, poorly made. Everything she's saying is true. I still don't think that this is a good way to go about it, personally.
Yeah, I think she must be up for some role, and she is publicly defending herself in the hope that she'll get it.
That didn't do wonders for her career. When you think of Madame Web and her acting in that movie, do you really think, if you're casting for a movie now and you want an actress that can deliver a dramatic performance of any sort, are you thinking that you want Dakota Johnson, or that Madame Web thing is kind of in your head? And unfortunately, I'll be honest with you, if I was now casting for a movie and I thought about her in Madame Web, I'd probably try to find a different actress.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
know.
think she's doing herself any favors by reminding people about it, but she is trying to claim it wasn't her fault.
Go on.
I think it doesn't matter anymore because it's universally accepted in Hollywood that Madame Web was a terrible movie and it was a huge flop. And it doesn't matter what she says now because everybody knows it. So it's not going to damage her career much. Plus, she's part of the Hollywood elite, isn't she? Her dad's famous, whatever. So
that's how she has a career, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly my point.
Okay.
So it's not going to damage her career at all. Really.
It's not like there's a moratorium on failing upward in Hollywood now, so I'm not sure what she's concerned with.
Quick sidestep then. Dakota Johnson says the failure of Madame Web wasn't my fault, then she has something slightly different. There's this thing that happens now where a lot of creative decisions are made by committee or made by people. This is the point, or made by people who don't have a creative bone in their body. I think that's the main point.
She's met KK.
It's always been this way.
She was on an interview and she was talking, and also she's aiming for more independent films now because I think she's just made another independent film. She enjoys the challenge of those kind of movies rather than the big budget movies. And I don't blame her because Hollywood's going to shit anyway. And also, as I said, Madame Web is universally known as shit. So it doesn't matter what she says now. Even when it was released, she came out and Saturday Night Live and took the mickey out of it. Do you know what I mean? So everybody knows it's shit. It's not going to damage her career at all.
And when your parents are Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, it's not like you need the money.
Exactly.
And on that bombshell. New hashtag 28 years later trilogy details from director Danny Boyle. Cillian Murphy will appear in the second and third films. The second film picks up immediately after the first. Boyle says he 100% plans to direct the third. Third film depends on how the first one performs.
Why don't they just focus on making a single good movie and maybe not plan out?
Well, the trailer looked great before thing today, before Ballerina.
But this kind of just shows everybody still has that whole cinematic universe bullshit in their head. And even before they establish something with one good solid movie, they're already thinking about sequels and spinoffs and cinematic universes.
Well, and they're saying the third one depends on how the first one does. What about the second one?
Yeah, and
Nia DaCosta is going to be directing the second one, not Danny Boyle.
Yeah, and it picks up right after the first one, which indicates it might end on a cliffhanger, which could piss a lot of people off, and maybe they don't go see the film. Nia DaCosta was the amazing Black Girl Magic Power that directed The Marvels. I remind everybody.
Oh, I thought the dance scene was fantastic. In that.
The Marvels.
Oh, I really hope Hideo Kojima doesn't show Bree's feet in the Death Stranding game.
Oh, no.
That'll be a disaster.
Don't care.
No,
I really don't care about it.
I think I'm quite interested in watching 28 Years Later.
I hope it's good, but I think aren't they
Danny
getting
Boyle.
a little ahead? Aren't they getting a little ahead of themselves? Is my point.
Look,
This is what Hollywood does now.
It's not the kind of movie I'd want to see anyway. I mean, I've seen the others, and it's going to be the same of the same. It's going to be more hyped. It's going to have more visual effects in it, and it's going to be that. But it's not the kind of film I'd rush to the cinema to go and see.
Yeah, but it's Danny Boyle.
Not. And so what?
Well, anybody who walks away from a Bond film saying, obviously, that is not.
I respect him. I respect him for that. But
same here.
28 Days Later was okay. I didn't, as I said, I'm not crazy about zombie films at all, because we've seen it all on that TV show, The Walking Dead. So what more could they add to this? I don't know.
Don't know.
I wasn't particularly impressed with the Trance movie or Frankenstein.
Oh, I like Trance.
or Train Spotting 2. And here's a hot take. I didn't think Sunshine was all that great a movie.
Well,
I know a lot of people love that, but
only critics like that movie. I don't know any normie likes that.
It was okay.
I thought it was boring.
Sunshine was okay till the wheels fell off when they went mad at the end.
And they fell off magnificently.
Yeah. When it started doing weird shit, but no, okay. Let's move on then. Yes, each to their own.
But I really loved A Life Less Ordinary. I thought that was a fantastic film and really quirky and funny romantic comedy kind of thing.
Who did Slumdog Millionaire? Was that Danny Boyle?
That was Danny Boyle, yeah.
That was a great
That was
movie.
a good film. That was a good film.
But oh my God, Cameron Diaz was hot in 1997. Okay.
Speaking of hot, happy 72nd birthday to there. Look at her, old Kathy. Doesn't she look fantastic?
Annette is back.
Speaking of people without a creative bone in their body making creative decisions in films.
Oh, yes.
I still can't
Happy
believe.
birthday.
I still can't believe that instead of a retirement plan in her 60s, they gave her the biggest sci-fi franchise in the world. Who does that? Why would a woman that knows nothing about sci-fi get to be in charge of the biggest sci-fi brand when she's at retirement age?
Because she has been nursing that resentment against the men in her life for 45 years, and she was going to show them.
Listen, even if, let's say, she was even more competent, maybe she had 30 years earlier, she did something good. Even if that were the case, in terms of her really being a visionary, I still think, look at George R.R. Martin. He's not getting any better at his age. At the age that they appointed her, I think that she had no business doing this, even if she was actually good at what she does. But it turns out she wasn't even that.
Didn't George Lucas give her the okay for her to take over Star Wars, for her to be in charge of Star Wars?
Okay. This is the thing that always people, in my opinion, get wrong. George Lucas has a big ego, and he thought that he could play 4D chess with everybody. He'd get the money for the big deal. He'd get Disney to back the production and do all that stuff. It would remove some stress for him because he wasn't getting any younger. And meanwhile, his idea was Kathleen Kennedy, who was sort of like one of Steven's people, one of Steven Spielberg. She also worked with him, Indiana Jones. He thought, well, I'm George Lucas. She'll be so thrilled that she gets to be sort of the co-CEO, but it's obvious that she'll be running kind of the day day-to-day operations when it comes to, yelling at vendors and stuff, and I'm going to be the creative visionary. Disney are going to bring all the resources and backing and kind of take a bit of that off my plate, and they're all going to come to me for my ideas because I'm George Lucas. And at the end, what happened was they signed the deal, kind of like with McDonald's. They never put into the agreement that he could have any say or creative input. They'll listen to him, but they don't have to do anything with it. And at the end, he found himself the odd man out. Yes, with $4 billion, but they gave him those $4 billion to get rid of him. And then the lady that he thought was going to be his liaison to this whole situation, ended up saying, "Hey, I work for Disney, fuck you." And that was the end of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That is what happened. And at the end, him and his ego are probably to blame for all of this. He never believed that they were not going to listen to his ideas.
Yeah, how could you do Star Wars without George Lucas?
That's what he was telling. That's probably what he sat around and told his friends. He said, "I got the best deal. They're giving me $4 billion, and how can they do Star Wars without George Lucas?" And I'll tell you another thing. I bet you Bob Iger also told him, "George, we can't put that in the contract, but how can we do Star Wars without George Lucas?" And then they both smiled at each other, and he really believed until the last minute when he signed it that he was going to have some kind of creative say on what happens.
Yeah, it was totally inconceivable to him. And that word, I do not think it means what you think it means.
Was it sheer fucking hubris?
It was.
Yep.
And the final thing I'll say, when you see that interview shortly after that, he said that he thought he sold it to sleeve owners. I didn't want to get your channel in trouble, but you know what I'm trying to say, to sleeve owners. In any case, he had that interview. He seemed really bitter for a minute there. And I think that the bitterness came for exactly what I said.
Absolutely. And
well, other than that, it was a good deal, yes.
Well, $4 billion.
$4 billion. Listen, I mean, nobody pays $4 billion for something unless they want it. And that's what they wanted. They got rid of him.
Here you go.
I can't even get $4 to go away.
Here you go. Mud crab wrenched. Price is right. Lots of there's been a few of those tonight.
Yeah. I think I was offered once if I would leave the bar, they wouldn't punch me. That's the best I got. $4 billion? Wow, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Okay. Ian, you're not back yet, are you? Okay. Anyway, happy birthday, KK. Kathy.
Yep, the number one white slaver.
And
Great job,
if she looks anything like that picture, I'll eat my microphone right now live.
Better start chowing down, son.
She's 100 years older.
Okay, who saw this then? Diego Luna on the importance of representation in Andor.
Yeah, screw that guy.
I grew up watching Star Wars and no one looked like me. There was no way I could picture myself as part of that universe, and today it's different. If you are young and you have a Latino background, you see Star Wars and you go like, wow, that universe represents me too.
That's total BS. This race essentialism stuff hasn't been around as a major part of culture for that long. All of this, I can't see myself, representation, BS. So shut up. If you couldn't see yourself in Star Wars, it's because you don't have an imagination, Diego.
Ooh,
shut the hell up and go away.
Yeah, aren't we? And if you looked in the mirror, dude, you're essentially white until you open your fucking mouth. So shut the fuck up. You've come from rich parents. And oh my God, he's acting like he had to claw and scrape his way to the top. I'm tired of this entitled, narcissistic, overprivileged Nepo baby bullshit. These people talking about they have to see themselves. Well, yeah, you don't have any fucking imagination if you can't see yourself in anything.
Ian, do you have any words on the subject?
Yeah, if, he can't see himself and his people can't see him, why don't they just make up things, TV shows and films with those kind of people in it? Why don't they do that?
Because they don't have a creative bone in their body and they can't make stuff. They can only steal it from other places.
Well, there you go. So he can fuck off then, can't he? There you go.
Really, honestly, if he saw the Spanish dub of Star Wars, I'm certain he saw himself all over the place.
Gorilla. So, are we all agreeing that he should just
I want to
fight?
add another comment that
Yeah, go on.
I personally think there were probably much better Latino actors to put in this role. And one of my biggest issues with this guy,
Pedro?
and I think no, not him. I feel like there's probably other Latino actors out there, and all we ever get is this guy and Pedro Pascal, and I don't know why, because there's better actors than both of these guys. But what I wanted to say is that the main problem with Diego Luna for me is that he doesn't speak English well. And before you say like, oh, you're an Islamophobe, he when he reads his lines, I'm not convinced that he 100% even understands the words that he's saying. It always
Yeah.
comes out like he's struggling to say his line. And I don't care if it's a guy that has an accent that maybe has lived in the US for many years and you could tell that he knows the language and he knows how to command it. In his case, I honestly feel like he doesn't. He doesn't live here, in my opinion. I think he spends most of his time in Mexico or wherever, and he does not command the English language well. And if you watch now Andor and Rogue One, anytime he speaks, it's like I'm doing a favor by accepting that that line that he says is really something that's happening.
Yeah, you know, I always thought he had the charisma of cold oatmeal, and he's sort of walking around the scene completely confused.
Jesus.
And your explanation actually makes perfect sense about what I'm seeing on screen.
You know what? I saw him in Narcos and I thought he was decent in that. So what I figure
Seems
is
alright.
if it's in Spanish, he's able to do it in a way that's more convincing. Once it's a language that you're not good at and you don't actually live here and you're not living and breathing it, it'll always come off as forced and weird. And it's one thing if you're a supporting character and maybe you can get away with that, or if you have charisma, like Jackie Chan doesn't speak English well, but he does fight scenes and he's super charismatic, so you let it slide. You know what I mean? But this guy, he just can't overcome this barrier, and the on-screen charisma, whatever he brings, it's not enough to overcome this barrier.
I spent my childhood thinking and playing that I was Godzilla and Ultraman. So don't tell me that I need somebody who of my ethnicity to feel seen. Plenty of people look like other people that aren't even of the same race. This, what did you call it, Professor? Race essentialism? Is that the word?
Yes.
Is that the term?
Yep.
That is a completely specious argument. It's an empty conceit. And I honestly thought we were past that bullshit by now.
Here you go, folks. Not Brian Ranch. Hello, Brian. You don't need to see yourself in Star Wars. As a kid, you wanted to be the characters, not the other way around.
And
Oh,
also, right, Star Wars was made by a
Oh.
white guy. So what did you expect from a white guy? He's going to write white characters. So in other words, if you're Spanish or if you're black, whatever,
See?
make your own IPs so that you could like Jordan Peele. That's what he does. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So do that.
He
Not
did cast.
Brian.
Sorry, go on.
I'm saying not Brian was a genius. You know who? That's how boys play. When we play with Batman, we want to be Batman. You know who needs to see themselves in toys and movies? Women need to see themselves.
Women.
When women play with Barbie, they're not Barbie. They want Barbie to be them. And this is well documented about the differences of boys and girls playing with toys.
Gone Price, you're going to say.
I was going to say that throughout the years, there have been diverse actors in Star Wars. I mean, yeah, it wasn't in the first one, but Billy D. Williams is rather well liked.
Yep.
This kind of, I hate this snivelly narrative of, oh, like they didn't allow anybody that wasn't white to be there. It's actually not true. Not in the original trilogy, and it's also not true in the prequels, where I think that Samuel L. Jackson had a significant role. I don't think it was nothing. Maybe Jimmy Smits, I think that they lost a lot of him in the editing, because I think there was a longer cut where you saw him more doing politics, and they kind of cut him out of there. But still, it's not true that you couldn't see anybody that wasn't white in any of these things. Not that that would have even mattered, but I still think that even if we're just taking what he's saying at face value, he's an idiot.
Oh, well, whenever you bring that up, like Lando, they're like, yeah, that's the only one. Name somebody else. It's like it's never good enough for these people.
If you watch, was it Chasing Amy, when that black guy stands up and talks about Star Wars? That's I think they believe that. Yeah, so
Just-
I don't know.
Just go look at the video of people standing in line for the original Star Wars and the original Empire Strikes Back and look at the crowd. There's plenty of news footage that you can go watch online.
We've got a super chat, if I may, from the mighty Joey Eager. $20. Cheers, Joe. Diego Luna is on record deliberately thickening his accents for weird Mexican patriotism reasons. There you go.
Well,
Cheers, Joe.
at least he doesn't pilot a sailboat.
Okay. Shall we?
Too soon?
Yes. Andor creator Tony Gilroy says Disney told him streaming is dead and they have no money. It also lines up with Disney CEO Bob Iger confirming streaming lost Disney billions of dollars and that Disney will be pulling back on both Star Wars and Marvel.
We know this is true, but when did Iger actually publicly admit to losing billions of dollars? Because that doesn't sound in character to him.
He didn't. Comic book news is just making this shit up.
Yeah. If anything, all he does is focus on, he wouldn't say that. We know that's true, but that's a different thing entirely. So is Cosmic Book News known for their accuracy?
They're not bad.
Based on the interactions I've had over the years with Matt McGloin, I like that guy. I think that he's been working hard for many years, and he brings a lot of times stories. Either he interprets them in the correct way and not in that kind of media spin, or he just has brought forward some pretty good stories. You know, you can always maybe criticize. I don't know if every story he's ever written has been 100% accurate, but for the most part, he's a pretty decent guy from what I've seen of him.
Well, at least we have in print that Disney streaming has lost billions of dollars. He got that part right. It's just that's not.
He's not wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah. Iger would never admit that.
Well, you know what? I think I haven't seen his article, and like I said, usually I think he's pretty much until today I've seen him as a pretty stand-up guy. But what I'll say is that Bob Iger, he doesn't usually say things in the direct way. He kind of maneuvers around them. I think recently he said something like, "Oh, we've been trying to do too much, so we're going to do a little less series of Marvel, a little less series of Star Wars on Disney Plus," and that's his way of basically not admitting that he lost billions of dollars. Instead, he's like, he always uses the fatigue or that they've overextended themselves. He has like a playbook. It has only two things in them: fatigue. We've overextended ourselves. And you'll see that anytime that there's a crisis, he puts on a nice suit and tie. He comes out and speaks to some reporter and he says, "Man, we do such great work, but we've kind of overextended ourselves." And he has that kind of smooth voice that he says it in. Or he says, "You know what? We were just doing too many of them. Too many. There was Star Wars fatigue. There was Marvel fatigue. There were this fatigue." That's all he knows. Those are the two plays in his playbook. Look now at his history. It'll always be one of those two.
And on that bombshell.
Wait, I want
to.
I heard. I'm trying to remember the source for this. A Hollywood Insider came out and talked about what happened at Disney. They looked at their box office from 16, 17, 2018. They saw all these billion-dollar movies, and somehow they thought they could come up with a plan where they only made billion-dollar movies. And anybody in the film business can tell you that's insane. You can't pick the winners ahead of time. But that sort of became their methodology. They were trying to make only blockbusters,
and that's why it went tits up. Anyway, okay.
The Disney Plus is a mess. It's an absolute mess. We'll never probably know exactly how much they spent on just propping up this service, but my guess is, from things we've heard, it's somewhere to $6-7 billion. just on setting up the service. That's not content. Even content, they probably put in another 10 billion. And this service is just, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And if they didn't have Bluey, Disney Plus would have collapsed a long time ago.
What is Bluey?
Bluey.
Blue Dog.
It is an Australian kids show
Oh, okay.
about Australian Shepherd dogs and whatever. It's
I think I know the
adorable.
one.
It's an adorable show, and they if they didn't have that, they would have lost all of their subscribers a long time ago.
Didn't they refuse to? Was it Indian Cricket League, which?
Oh yeah, they
Makes
lost a
lots
ton of
of-
subscribers in India because they lost cricket at one
Yeah,
point,
because they
and
didn't.
then
Yeah.
but they, in order to keep Bluey, my understanding is in order to keep Bluey, part of that deal was the money that they teamed up with the BBC to make Doctor Who. They did that partly to keep Bluey.
Oh dear. Okay. Let's. Get in the bin, folks. Any ideas?
Is it Greta?
Have you seen the slides?
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't watched them.
Okay. A bit of politics,
It's,
folks.
it's Greta. It's definitely Greta.
How can it not
Obviously-
be? I think there's no
obviously-
way around it.
Obviously, it's a very emotive subject, so we'll try and not address the actual subject.
We'll dance around it, Brown. Show
We'll
us the
just
slide.
specifically talk about Greta. Yes.
No problem.
Even when I read the slides, I never look at the bin because I like to be surprised. That's my favorite part of the show.
Okay.
It's Greta.
Here we go then. They're saying, is it Starmer? God, I'd give anything for it to be Starmer. Okay, here we go. Who saw this? Greta Thunberg says she's willing to risk her life going to the place we all know. Of course, we know it's a very risky mission, and we know that previous experiences with flotillas like this have resulted in attacks, violence, and even cases of death.
If it's that dangerous, why have we seen all the pictures of them partying on the boat like it was spring break in Fort Lauderdale?
They're eating all this
Yeah.
food with drinks and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
so
they're
ridiculous.
dancing on the bow. Yeah, they're dancing on the bow. Fireworks.
It's just a sailing holiday.
No,
Well, here's
yeah,
the funnier thing, these are all these eco driven
Right.
whatever, and they're supposedly on a sailboat. If you look at any of the videos and stuff that you're watching, most of them, these sails are not being used. They're using a diesel
motor,
engine.
yeah.
What?
They're using a diesel motor to go, because if they used the sails, they would get there too quickly. They needed the diesel motor to push them more slowly so that they could get there on a specific schedule when they wanted to arrive. And by the way, I did share in the private chat some breaking news.
Go on.
Their ship has been intercepted and seized by the IDF.
That's what they wanted secretly, though, isn't it? That's what they wanted.
Yeah, and that they always knew. And if they weren't stupid, they would have known
Yeah.
that's exactly what was going to happen. There's been a blockade.
That's what they wanted.
Yeah, there's been a blockade there for quite some time now, and they were not going to be allowed because they are not a registered vessel that is allowed to travel in there and deliver aid. So they were always going to be seized by the IDF, and that's exactly what they wanted. And
I would have
Um,
I would have
There you go.
preferred
Look, there you go. How dare you? Hello, eggs.
I would have preferred the crew got to their destination
Yeah,
because
they
I've
won't be
seen
coming.
who's on
They won't
that
coming
boat.
out. They won't be
Yeah.
coming back out.
Yeah, they would get a first-class guided tour of the rooftops of Gaza.
Stupid. She's just a stupid little.
Like her picture needs to be in the dictionary under empty gesture.
Also, more hypocrisy in addition to the eco stuff. A lot of these type of activists are also very kind of LG friendly with all the rainbow flags. They're not wearing them now. I think that if she came with that rainbow thing to here, and they actually let her into there, that she probably wouldn't be well received.
Well, that was my point about the
Yeah.
rooftop tours.
She
Yeah.
won't be coming out. But anyway, okay. That's.
Oh, we managed to get through this without getting your channel banned.
Yeah.
Aren't we good?
We
Double
danced
fucking
around
stunts.
it, Brown. I think that I did pretty well here.
Is she just? She's just an idiot. Just
Who
naive.
says we can't dance?
Is she just
she's
naive?
a useful idiot, yes.
She's just naive. Yeah. Obviously, a multimillionaire naive. She's
Yeah,
worth about
so
8 million. You know that?
she can afford a few million in diesel fuel. Screw the environment. It's not her problem anymore. She
Okay.
realizes that it'll last at least for her to be an adult, and she's got money now, so she no longer has to
Okay.
care.
I feel I've been put in my place. Dr. Iceman wrenched. This was not in the bin worthy. Sorry, Brune. Sorry, mate.
Greta has always been worthy. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Ice.
Doctor. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. You've got to do better, Brown. I'll try for next week. Okay. Sorry, mate.
She's perennially in the bin
Yeah.
at all times.
Stand tall and proud, Mr. Brown. Greta has always been worthy.
Okay. Let's and
Finally.
finally, who saw this? 81 years ago today, on June 6th, 1944, James M. Doohan of Vancouver and later, what's that, Samir? Was shot 6 times on Juno Beach while fighting for Canada on D-Day. He would later go on to become Scotty in Star Trek. Real life hero, folks.
Indeed, a real life hero, absolutely, and a good actor on top of that. And, yeah.
I've been rewatching TOS, so this story,
yes.
like, I knew he was Canadian, which a lot of people didn't know, and I knew he fought in World War II, but I had no idea that he was at D-Day, and certainly no idea that he took 6 shots
Sarnia.
and still lived. Wow.
Yeah, he lost his finger.
Yeah.
Stephen Moray. Hello, Stephen. Wrenched. Well done, Scotty. One of my dad's cousins was shot dead on the beaches on June 6th. He was 18. Damn. All heroes.
Everyone.
My grandfather was going to head that way, but he got his leg blown off in North Africa.
All these heroes lost their lives for idiots like on the previous slide. Yeah. That's what
I
it is
say-
in a nutshell.
I say let that boat get to its final destination. I would have been, let him go.
Yeah. Do you know Final Destination, the movie? What number was it? The last one that's just come out. Final Destination
Is it the
7?
6 or 7? The one with the amazing PR campaign with the trucks.
Greta could be the was it Final Destination 8? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
so-
Here we go. So that'd be 7, yeah. So 6, 7, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloodlines was 6. That was the one. But they had a beautifully, brilliantly conceived advertising campaign where they put the image of trucks onto trucks. So they changed a regular truck into the one carrying all the tree trunks that fell off and went through the car. That was just brilliant.
Sounds very meta.
Yeah, it's like getting a tattoo of a face on your face sort of thing. But
There you go. Amelia Bedelia wrenched. Oh, Amelia. 3 fingers for Scotty. Very good.
Yep.
Ian, anything to add before we disappear?
You cannot change the law of physics. That's all
You
I can
can't.
say.
You can't.
I did want to, if anybody hasn't seen the 4K remasters of Star Trek, the original series,
have.
they are absolutely amazing. And I did
Mm.
I
I've
did
got
want
to
to
admit-
point.
Welcome
Sorry,
to
mate.
just.
No. I was about to say, I've got to admit, I like the ones where they improve the effects. Sorry, carry on.
I wanted to point out on that last thing. I had to leave the mic for a moment. Disney, the entire company, is valued at about 230 billion. They spent 100 billion on streaming. They spent 30 billion on Hulu, and they bought Fox for 70 billion. Then another 10 billion for Star Wars and Marvel. They spent the entire almost exact value of their company on other companies and properties, and they're still worth the same 230 billion. They invested the value of their company into their company, which gained 0 value. Like, do
Well,
the math, Wall Street.
they thought they were going to corner the market, didn't they? With
Yeah.
20th Century Fox and Marvel and and stuff like that, and they didn't because of what's happened in the world. So
And that was that plan to release only blockbusters, like they had the talent to make only blockbusters. But you figure at the very least, if you're worth 100 billion and you buy a company for 50 billion, your net worth would be 150 billion. But it's like every bit of value they sunk into that company vanished.
Okay, and on here you go, Sod and Storm Wrench. They just killed everything we love.
Yeah, they
Oh.
bought everything up and then destroyed the
Oh.
value of everything they bought.
that is
Oh,
true. That is very
man.
true. Very true.
Okay.
Oh,
Shame.
And
anyway, Scott is a hero.
yes, James
Yes,
Doohan,
that's for sure.
we salute you.
Yeah.
Wow, people get killed in horrible ways in the Final Destination movies, don't
Yeah,
they?
yes, they do. Yes, they really do.
I've never. Wow, that's. I just had the thing running, and that's awful. Holy
Okay.
shit!
Okay. I'll say rest in peace as well, James Doohan.
Yeah.
He got shot into space. His ashes got shot into space, didn't they?
Eventually,
Eventually, yeah.
there were a
Okay.
couple of false starts with
Yeah.
with that.
Okay.
Hey, what episode is that picture from? That's a very odd Federation
Oh,
logo on his
no.
uniform,
No, that's the engineering logo.
Mm,
even
yes.
with the little Celtic knot in the middle.
Yeah. The engineering has a little swirl.
Okay. That is it, folks. Chat, you are wonderful. Thank you for the interaction, the super chats. Keeping us on our toes. So, chat, you are the best. We will see you next time. Let's get the guests up. There's only 5, so it's going to really mess with my OCD, but never mind. Price of Reason. Cheers, Price.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Is this the plugging thing now?
Yeah, go on, go on, mate. You plug away, mate.
Well, we've advanced with the
What?
live stream channel, so I
What?
want to share that again.
Yeah, I noticed you grew in quite a few subs there. That worked.
Right. So it's kind of heading in a good direction. We're so close to the, I don't want to say the finish line, but to our goal, our short-term goal. So I want to try to share that.
Go on, then.
I'll do that right now. I'm putting
Yeah,
it in,
yeah,
our
just,
in the
just
chat.
waiting for you.
It's okay.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Oh, I didn't use the right account. Shoot.
Oh,
Okay. I'm gonna fix it. I'm
what-
gonna fix it.
Why is it so confusing?
Okay, sorry. Here, I did it. So this is the live stream channel, and we're very close to 1,000 subs. So please sub to this channel, even if you're sub to my regular main channel. Now I'll leave everybody alone.
Thank fuck for that. Okay. Maggie, cheers in.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Ista, cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for having me on. It's always a blast. And we really are the best chat on YouTube.
Oh, without
not-
shadow of a doubt.
Not many Wang jokes tonight, though. It's a little.
No. That was just a moment in time that was special.
A moment in Brown history.
Yeah.
Ben
Thank you.
Wang.
Wang. Cheers, Prof.
Cheers.
Okay. I think that's it. Are we doing a bonus stream? I'll have a word with the boys. We don't know yet. There you go, folks. So, if we don't see you in a few minutes, we'll see how we play. We were back Wednesday. We're back Wednesday. I think Trev is doing Dread on Tuesday, 2012. Dread. Beast up tomorrow? Don't know. We're back Wednesday. If we don't see you during the week, or if we don't see you in a few minutes, have a great week. Bonus stream, very liquid situation, folks. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.